You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Beauty and the Beast After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Beauty and the Beast After Show.
Wow. This was a pick of Austin's, everybody. Welcome back, Beasties. We are back finally. It's been a long summer, and we are treating you to a special guest for our very first after show. Thanks for joining us. He can't even talk. He's too busy jamming out.
I know.
It's a good song, though.
I was waiting for my cue.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming back. We're excited to have you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so it's been a bit since we've seen you. What have you been doing other than growing facial hair?
That's pretty much it. It takes a lot. I don't have good genes in the facial hair department, as my dad, who tries every 5 years,
and then it just
attest,
doesn't.
Just doesn't happen. And there's an Amish thing to it where I'm feeling a little hipster because it's starting to, like, if I can say, pube out.
That's so
at the
nice.
bottom there. I feel like it's a virgin beard, and it's almost like a huge chin strap, and I'm trying to elevate it a little.
Yeah, make it bigger, better.
I have a personal groomer on set, and she does all she can.
That's so funny. So you are rocking the beard on Beauty and the Beast.
Well, it's been 3 months since the finale.
The finale.
Yeah.
Wow. I never thought I'd see you with a beard on the show. I
never thought I'd see myself with a beard, ever.
Never the intention. Never wanted a beard.
And if it gets okayed, I mean, like, when else am I going to have a beard unless they do.
I know.
Amish breaking Amish.
Well, they have Breaking
3.
Amish. That's an interesting show, but staying on the Beauty and the Beast topic, I guess, because we're not Amish and we're not breaking Amish here. What have you been up to this summer? Anything special, fun, working on different projects?
Well, I always, try to, find creative outlets in other ways other than acting. And, it's a constant. First of all, rest is one thing that I've been doing.
I bet.
And the fact that we found out we got picked up. I was driving back from Toronto, and I found out at a rest stop 3 hours outside of LA before I got back. So I was ready to go back to Toronto before I even got back to LA. And I think my summer was it was a personal thing of seeing all my friends and family that I hadn't seen for 10 months and spending just, quality time with my wife and, taking care of the human side of the actor and getting ready for whatever the second season had in store and to kind of recommit and re-energize.
Right. I feel like you need to take a step back and be Austin for a bit, right?
Yeah, you got to experience something because sometimes you get in a bubble and you're working, and as an actor, you have to have a life to draw from. It can't be just, oh, I've seen someone else do this. I mean, as an actor, I try to bring whatever I've experienced, so, ups and downs, but when you have 3 months off and you're working in 3 months as an actor, you're like, screw it. I'm going to, do classes and go to I'm going to member the actor studio. So I go there and, kind of keep fresh. But at the same time, it's, hey, let's meet for dinner and drinks,
Happy hour.
Yeah, happy hour for 3 months.
Yeah, well, I feel like you need it, though. You guys are there for a long time. It's cold there. You come back to LA. It must be pretty nice, refreshing.
Yes, it is a foreign country.
Yes.
Even though it's very close in
close
culture.
To us. Yeah. So when did you go back officially to start season 2?
Right after Comic-Con. The day after Comic-Con ended, we started production on, I believe it was the 22nd, I believe.
Okay. Wow. So you guys, you have 3 months off, but that must fly by. I feel like we just wrapped and we're back again.
Oh, totally. But it does feel weird after getting 22 episodes of scripts and revisions and, that the grind of memorizing and rememorizing because it's changed and then doing it and getting the show out there. And then all of a sudden, woof, There's
over.
nothing left. But it's not over. It's just like,
Mini vacation.
We had maybe like, I guess, 2 weeks or a week and a half or so of not knowing what was going on when we wrapped. So there was a week of, okay, we could be going back. We're like plan A, plan B, plan C. The show gets picked up, we do this. The show doesn't get picked up, we do this. And plan C is who knows.
Who knows? But luckily you guys got picked up.
I know.
So that was easy to figure out. How was Comic-Con? That place is crazy. And BC's, you guys are insane fans. So I can only imagine what that was like for you guys.
Well, I know one beastie that we keep encountering in LA said she woke up, she's from LA, she woke up at 2 in the morning.
Wow.
To get to Comic-Con at 4:30 or 5 when the doors open, so that she can get into the room that we were having the panel, and stay for whatever was before us and be there, because that was the big thing. Is like there's this huge line outside because there are other shows and other events in that same room right afterwards. So people camp out overnight, get into the room early in the day, even if their panel is the last panel. And, that's what, beasties are crazy. So, they did that.
They're crazy in the good way. I mean, they're so dedicated to this show. All summer, people have been tweeting at us. I'm sure I know they've been tweeting at you. I've seen them, retweeting them. They're very loyal followers. And I feel like you don't really find this with many other CW shows. This has really been kind of like a cult-like show for them.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I think from the beginning they made it that, and because of the story and the epic romance, and I think the way we've kind of reimagined it, or the writers have reimagined the show, and the CW has put it out. It's kind of inspired them, and the fact that early on it was kind of touch and go about our audience and the ratings and the rating systems that are kind of askew, but are changing this year. And I think when you have that fear of losing something that you really enjoy and like, that motivated them in the beginning, and then the success with the People's Choice and winning all these online polls, and they still did it. They did E-Online, I think, did Hottie of the Week.
Yes.
E-News did Hottie of the Week. And then it was kind of right when we got picked up. So it was Upfront week in May. So Jay won the first week, Kristen won the second week, and then I won the third week. And they were like, okay, we might have to change the rules of this, because it seems like beasties pick up on those things and kind of motivate and get the stuff done.
Yeah, they're really dedicated, and the fact that they're going out of their way to make a point that they love this show.
Yep.
It's not just tweeting about it, talking about it with their friends. They're saying to the whole world, we love this, and we want it to come back.
Yeah.
All over the world. It's crazy, the people we get tweets from, and then I'm sure you get tweets from.
Yeah.
It's insane. But not only have they fallen in love with Beauty and the Beast, people have really taken a liking to JT. What do you think it is that kind of draws them to that character?
I think he's just the ever loyal, ever present support system for Vincent. And in Vincent's extreme circumstances of being a beast and being hunted by a secret government black ops organization, he has been there and supported his best friend, seemingly with no questions asked, and done things that I don't know if he thought he could do.
Right.
The writers write things every episode that I'm like, oh, that's a new skill. I was like, JT gets cooler and cooler and more versatile as a person, and also as a sidekick in the modern sense of the sidekick, where he's not going to put on tights and
a mask or anything.
Be the boy wonder. Nina and I joked about that if Tess and JT ever came together, that she would be Batman.
And you'd be Robin?
I would be Robin.
Well, she's very intense on the show. I mean, I think that is how it would have to play out.
But no one wears pants in that relationship, so I guess.
No, nobody
JT
does.
only wears pants when he has a bat or a train gun in his hand.
Yeah, when he really needs to.
Yeah.
But I think also your character is very relatable. We don't all encounter beasts in our daily life, so as much as we love him, we love Vincent, but I don't know a Vincent, and I don't really know a cat who's in love with a beast. I don't know these people. I feel like maybe viewers know JT.
Yeah, and what I try to do, and I get the opportunity to play a lot of roles like that, kind of an everyman, but a unique character, everyman with, idiosyncratic behavior and quirkiness and glasses. But what I try to do is always bring, human quality, whether it's in the beginning of the season, there was a lot of, snapping at JT snapping at Catherine, and after maybe one episode or two episodes, it started getting to the point where I, as an actor and as someone trying to create a three-dimensional character, was trying to find other dimensions and other ways to get what I was trying to accomplish done. And what I was trying to accomplish is get her away.
Goodbye.
But, and then I think even from the first episode, the end of the first episode after the pilot, where she comes and returns the photo, the photo from Afghanistan with him and his army buddies, he sees that there's a note of real care and real, and that grows throughout the season with Kat and JT's awareness of it, to the point where he becomes, Team Vincat,
right.
When Alex comes into the picture. And throughout the season, he's put his life on the line, and he's gone out of his way to juggle a lot of, proverbial balls in the air to maintain Vincent's, safety, his happiness, and also Kat's in some ways.
Yeah, they all kind of seem, towards the end of the season, you guys all came together kind of as a group. You, Kat, Vincent, Tess, everybody's on board with this right now. And it's interesting to see from the beginning of the season to where it is now. And I think that's also why the fan base keeps growing, because, we all went into the show not knowing what it was going to be and having certain expectations. And I feel like it surpassed it. But what do you think that quality of all of them kind of working together does for the show? Because moving forward, it must change the dynamics a lot.
Yeah, I think you get to see, and I think the theme for season 2 is going to be, or is, who am I? And it's the name of the first episode. And for each character, it's going to be a journey or a revelation of who they are individually and as a member of this team. And as an actor and as observer of people in life, dynamics change when new people get introduced into a group. So Vincent and Catherine act one way with each other. When JT's there, they act another way, and each person has a role in that threesome.
Right.
And then,
for lack of a better term.
Yeah, the Beasties are a randy bunch, so we have to use double entendres like that. And then with Tess, it adds this other kind of, not doppelganger, but like, opposing force for JT, because they each in their own world, with, Tess with Kat and JT with Vincent, provide a similar support system and, wise ass remark and jokes and humor. And so when they're together, that kind of, it builds to a weird climax in it. So I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic, how all of them work together. And then, with Gabe now, everyone knows he's alive. So how does that factor into the whole Vincent, Catherine romance, and also the safety of everyone? Because now everyone's involved, everyone's also in danger and at risk. So, and what secrets there are between them, among them, and that they're trying to keep from everyone else.
Right, and so we left off, the season finale was kind of huge. We're all kind of left wondering what's going to happen. Is there any tidbits you can give us, anything we can expect going into this season in general, or even the premiere?
Well, I think what I can say is, it's been 3 months, so a lot has happened.
Okay.
Vincent has been in the custody of Muirfield for that time, and things have changed. He has been evolved as a beast to a point where he's a new version of the beast that we left in the last episode of last season. So what we know of Vincent as a beast has now kind of morphed into these past 3 months of whatever Muirfield did to him. He's coming back with different powers, different, issues that he's working with, and it's, I think, up to Kat and JT and, you know, the rest of the team. I think, you know, from JT and Kat outwards,
yes,
because that's, you know,
growing.
just as, you know, the actor that plays JT, I think like that. So the story always centers around my story,
right?
Or the episodes center around my arc. And so from my perspective as JT, it's, you know, bringing those 3 months back to today and trying to figure out where JT and Vincent are, if anything's changed, and if, you know, they have to kind of reignite their friendship. And the same thing with Kat and Vincent, you know, reigniting their romance and falling in love again, because there are certain situations that they, I don't know if I can even say this, but it's probably out there. But I mean, you know, he's changed. So he's there's two things. One, they're trying to figure out what's going on with him as a beast and what he's involved in, because it's, if you think Muirfield was big, this, whatever he's involved in is kind of way bigger.
Okay.
And so on the second level, I think they're trying to connect with him on a personal level. He's, you know, been brainwashed and been, you know, kidnapped, and has what's that syndrome where you kind of sympathize with your kidnappers?
Oh, where you won't run away because I know what you're talking about. It's kind of
like that. It's kind of and I think they're trying. It's a push and pull emotionally and personally for them, as, you know, JT's best friend and Catherine's love. That they're working on two levels, is trying to figure out what's going on and also trying to connect with him, the old Vincent, get the old Vincent back.
Right.
Even though he's changed as the beast version of Vincent.
So not only has Vincent changed, I'm assuming all of you changed with him. What are traits that JT maybe has acquired or that you've brought to the character? I know I talked to a lot of actors who say, you know, I make up situations from his past, or that make JT the way he is, or whatever character. Do you do that? Have you changed who you think JT is at all?
I don't think, at JT's core, he's never, I don't think, going to necessarily change. It's how that translates or becomes evident in the storylines. And so I think what's changed is that, you know, if you think about the story of JT losing his friend in Afghanistan, first of all, he lost his best friend's brothers, and so they're basically family to JT in 9/11. Then his best friend, his only remaining kind of contact and buddy, leaves for Afghanistan and dies, or as far as he's concerned, until he comes back and JT takes him in. And so there's a whole arc of that history that, you know, we might see more of in season 2, and I'm hoping that we do, because that, you know, it adds so many other dimensions to their relationship that really haven't been seen, and we're always underneath for season 1, and we'll be there for season 2. And so that 10 years, he's cared for, kept, you know, like provided for Vincent, and now he's kidnapped, which is the horrible. And it's every time Catherine brings that fact back, it's frustration and failure are the neon lights that go on in JT's world, because everything he tried for those 10 years to cure him, to keep him safe, failed ultimately after 10 years. And so there's a guilt that comes with that, and also that, you know, dependence, that codependence, the codependent bromance, as I like to call it, because now he's on his own, and he's also, who am I, figuring out the past 3 months who he is without Vincent, and as a professor, as a scientist, and, you know, and you catch him in the beginning writing a book, and that's part of his path, and trying to not separate himself from Vincent, but become his own man. And, you know, hence the beard. That's a physical choice. But it's also, you know, it's been 3 months. He's grown up. JT's all grown up now, and
it's true. It's almost like a breakup. You know, when you break up with somebody, you refine who you are and define who you want to be. Are we going to? We saw little bits of it last season. Are you going to have a love interest? Do you know?
Well, yeah, I think there's some scenes early on. I mean, we were only on episode 6 filming wise, so and in 2 weeks, you'll see the first episode. So I think we'll be on episode 7 or 8 at that point. But I don't think the thing with Sarah is working out, unfortunately, because of his situation.
Right.
And as you remember last time when he was wearing his sports jacket and graphic tee and supposed to go meet Sarah's parents, that didn't happen because of Beast Gabe. And so, because he was really scared, you know, and concerned for Vincent, but he used that as an excuse because he's scared, and I don't think he was ready for it, ultimately. This season, because of this team and we're working in close quarters, his relationship with Tess, and it hasn't necessarily evolved yet, but there's a potential that that could lead to something. There's a really, I think, nice scene. Hopefully it comes out nice. I haven't seen it, so who knows? I tried.
We'll be the judge of that.
We tried to make it a kind of just a moment between them of understanding, camaraderie, and also that they're playing for the same team and they're on the same side, and that is just the beginning, the spark of a possible romance there. But I think it could be, as my wife says, the Monica and Chandler of Beauty and the Beast. So that could take several seasons.
It could take forever.
It could take forever. But I think the fans and the Beasties would love that.
They want it
dynamic.
bad.
Oh, totally. And we've Nina and I have was like, what do we call this? What do we call our
Yeah,
there's Vincat.
Jess. You'd be
Right,
Jess?
some people said Jess, J-Tess. I like, and I think this was actually Nina's idea, JT&T.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That is actually very
So-
clever. Well, a name will appear eventually if that is to happen. If that happens,
Yeah.
Beasties are going to go crazy. They're going to go crazy.
Yeah.
I know Alicona, she's not here right now. She wanted to be very badly, but she's been a big advocate for JT
Right.
and Tess from the get-go.
Well, she really didn't like Tess and Joe.
No, she did
You guys
not.
didn't last time. I remember you like, what is this? So,
Well, adultery is never okay. So
No.
we weren't fans.
it's hard to, dig yourself out of that trust ditch.
Yeah. We were never a fan of that, but she's
I'm not
always
a fan of it either, by the way.
No, adultery.
That's for my wife.
FYI.
Totally not a fan
For
of it.
those of you at home.
For either of us.
No, I agree. And I just think, people want this. So I would love to see that happen. But, it seems like there's a lot going on. There's a lot for us to look forward to with this season. Is there one highlight for you that you're most excited about or just happy to be back?
Well, I think the highlight that I mean, for me at least, from my perspective, is because we were kind of under a new regime, new showrunner, and he's got a game plan, a 5-year plan, and for the show, and it's not only, it goes beyond this season, it goes beyond just season to season. Trying to map out a mythology for the arc of this fairy tale,
Right.
This modern day fairy tale, and through that with JT, you're going to find out more of the history of JT and Vincent, and I think also it's allowing the more dynamics there are to the plot and the story, the more it gets revealed about each character. So with each new conflict that they come up against, this team of Vincent fighters, like
Vincent,
Team Vincent,
Vincent.
yeah, Team Vincent. The more you see of who the characters are, and there's always great comic lines, and there's a couple of good ones early on. And what I like the most about is JT's weird and complicated dynamic with Gabe.
I can imagine
because
what that's like.
We posted a picture and everyone's like, "Oh, are you cheating on Vincent with Gabe as your bromance?" And because it was an awesome picture, but I think he's just part of the team because he hates Muirfield just as much.
Right.
And that's on a judgmental, objective level, but from a JT perspective, this is the guy that 3 months ago was trying to kill my best friend,
Right.
to save his own life and forage his organs, his lymphatic system, whatever, for survival. And so that's going to take a lot of earning on his part to overcome that obstacle in their relationship. And the lines and the you know, I like the fact that I don't have to, you know, with Kat and JT, there's always, you know, a sympathy win those lines, even in the, you know, very kind of aggressive, get the hell out of, you know, our lives lines. But with Gabe, there was no sympathy because he, you know, did the opposite of what Kat did.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that, actually. And that's always my favorite part of the show. The Beasties who watch this after show know I'm a fan of the funny lines, the one-liners, and you and Tess, especially JT and Tess, because that's where the comedic relief comes a lot of the times, and I need that in a show. So I'm looking forward to that very much.
Yeah.
But so we're all looking forward to this season. But you had a nice break. You recently had a birthday. We were talking about the Beasties. One of the Beasties put together a video montage for you, correct? And Ali Kona was a part of it. Her name's Angie Redding. What was that like for you to know you have a following that is willing to come together and do this?
Well, they, you know, there was these little, there's a woman, Anita from Texas, Anita Graves, that actually kept, you know, tweeting, you know, little clues about what was going to happen. I was like, what is going on? I'm like, I know they're planning something because they kind of did it for Jay, and I think they did it for Nina. Happy birthday, you know, happy B-Day, Jay. And they did a trend. I was like, oh, you know, I figured they'd do a trend. And then when I woke up and I saw like my Twitter feed kind of blowing up, and the fact that they did an actual website, you know, they have a fan site. Angie does a lot of fan videos, and really awesome. She did the video to Roar to kind of get the Beasties roaring over the summer to, you know, get ready for season 2.
So creative, really creative on your part.
And apparently she's self-taught because of the show. It motivated her in her free time to kind of do stuff like this, and she has learned over, and with each video it gets better and better. And obviously the birthday video with everyone's personal messages, or, you know, pictures, or, you know, they had like montages that they did, and people sang happy birthday to me from South Africa. That was really, really nice. And their daughter sang. And so it was just really sweet and really, you know, comforting as an actor on the show that people are enjoying what I'm doing and enjoying the show. And so much so that they're going out of their way to show their affection. And from my perspective is all I try to do with Twitter. I mean, there's a promotional aspect to it. There's a very kind of comedic aspect. You know, Nina does some great tweets about life in general that I haven't even attempted to try to do yet. But I think from my perspective is, you know, I come from theater training, and you know, in New York, I did a lot of plays, and as a comedian too, especially with a play, you have an immediate response, an immediate like validation of the work you've done, or the joke, or, you know, in general, the story of what you presented to the audience, and they're there. There's an energy in the room. And with Twitter, it's not immediate, but there is another type of energy that's kind of out there that I feel is a positive one for performance, especially on TV and film, where you don't have the audience right there to respond. And so I've only had positive experiences. Some people have had negative experiences. But I think if you put positive out there, you're going to get positive back. And so, and my whole thing is that it's not just a kind of a wall of me tweeting and people retweeting and responding and not getting a response. I don't have, you know, millions of followers like Beliebers and Biebers, and you know,
that is insane, the amount of followers. And
so it gets harder for them to necessarily respond. But to a degree, I think, you know, not necessarily pointing anyone out, but I don't know if they would actually respond. And I know some people do, and it's appreciated because it's recognition that there's an audience and they serve just as much as a performer in that relationship. There's a equality there that without the other one doesn't exist. So you know, it's about that, and it's about, you know, being just treat people as you would have, you know, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and sometimes you get more back, in the case of my birthday. So
I know, it's so sweet of them. The Beasties are great, and we're all looking forward to season 2. Before we wrap this up, thank you again for taking the time to come here. You are only in town for a short time, right? You're in and you're out, back to Toronto.
Yep.
So thank you for coming. Is there anything you want Beasties to know, or if, I don't know if you're working anymore. I know you do a lot of work for the type 1 diabetes research. If there's any events you need people to know about, or just tune in for the premiere.
Well, I think November is actually National Diabetes, World Diabetes Month. But just be aware and kind of if you want to donate money to JDRF, that would be very much appreciated. But I think for Beasties in general, I put something on Twitter that just to kind of like a Beastie bandwagon, BATB bandwagon campaign of spreading the word and getting the word out there, which I know they're good at. They're amazing at voting, and Anita also did a post-it challenge where they're putting random post-its in the antacid section of the grocery store or the tissue section.
So funny.
Because that's what you'll need to watch a show, and then also in bars, because some people drink when they watch the show.
You need a drink after watching these shows.
Oh, totally. And so, from my perspective, I put these T-shirts. Beastie T-shirts.
Gotta get one.
You can win a Beastie T-shirt. I have one in every size, and so you have to prove your worth on Twitter, how you're promoting the show in what creative way, and it's about numbers, but it's also about creativity and just getting the word out there in a positive way, and you're not badgering people, but
right.
Inspiring people to watch the show. And there's going to be a lot of stuff with the writers' Twitter page, the BATB Nation Tumblr account. Just pay attention in the next couple of weeks, because we have new things coming out in addition to the art contest that has been going on and I think ends this week. All these prizes, all these activities, trending is going to be important. Not necessarily trending, but Twitter activity is now, I think, starting in a couple of weeks or a week. Twitter, Nielsen has a rating system that is Twitter-based, so it's going to supplement the Nielsen ratings on TV, and we'll see how that works out for the Beasties. It's a lot of competition out there, a lot of people.
It's
tweeting,
a lot of competition, but the Beasties, man, they are on Twitter. Often, all hours of the day, so I'm sure you guys can get it done at home.
Yeah.
But thank you again for coming. What's your Twitter handle for the Beasties that don't know it?
It's at Austin Basis.
So
Just
make sure,
simple.
at Austin Basis, make sure you check them out, and make sure you check out the season premiere, guys. It's coming up fast, so don't forget about it. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
And I'm Paige Sullivan, as always, and I will see you for the premiere in a couple weeks.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.